Since my last video where I made a feature-length film going over my journey of speedrunning Skate 3, which took 2 months of solid slavery to pump this puppy out, I immediately went into a burnout. And during that time, I immediately went into hard drive issues. The hard drive where I store all my recordings to make YouTube videos decided to go. After going through countless diagnostics, talking to multiple people on how to fix my issue, including someone who's professional at their job, don't comment about how to fix my hard drive because I went through every possibility on how to do it, I have given up and ordered a new hard drive. Luckily, this issue happened after I made my 2-hour-long feature film video, and not during. So, these type of contents with the funny haha and Discord moments are gonna have to wait for later. In the meantime, to get over my sadness of the loss of a hard drive, I got on my knees and begged to Big Papa Skate themselves on Twitter, asking for some rewards. I hit world record on Skate through speedrunning. I should deserve something in return, right? Luke did it in the past, why can't I? Shortly after, I got a DM on Discord from the community manager himself.
You've gotten the year 1 and year 2 deck right. Yeah, just no year 3. K.
Currently, as I'm recording this, nothing has came in the mail yet, so I don't know if I'm gonna get anything. Okay, now for the real meat of this video. And how this is gonna go is into 3 sections. The buffs of Skate 3, the neutrals of Skate 3, and the nerfs of Skate 3. This video encompasses everything that Skate 3 has provided us, and things that happen to be left out from the previous Skate titles. Meaning everything I'm going over is purely a dev decision. Whether you love or hate trick lining, or you think that having a color grip tape is cool, I'm not going to talk about that, for that wasn't an intended gameplay feature. So this is more of a review of Skate 3, but the only thing I'm comparing it to is Skate 1 and 2. Let's start off with the buffs. The buffs being everything that was added into this game that weren't in the previous titles, and that were just generally a good positive thing for the game that rarely anyone has complaints about. Since it's a skateboarding game, skating usually involves tricks, and so they've added new tricks in the game that weren't in Skate 1 or 2. That being dart catches and underflips. Dart catches are a whole new mechanic where you catch the board upside down, which can be transitioned into dark slides, adding a little bit more variety on how to attack a ledge or rail. Then you also have underflips, and with underflips, that can lead into underflips. That's about it. In Skate 2, we were finally able to get off our board, but it seemed very clunky. You seemed pretty slow, and just going upstairs seemed like a chore, and you'd rather find a different way up somewhere else. Skate 3 rehauled the off-board mechanic and made it so much easier, much more fluid, get on and off your board easier, fly up the stairs, it's amazing. Another new thing added was difficulty. Skate had a normal difficulty for 1 and 2, now you can do easy or hardcore, depending on your style of play. And what helped keep motivating people to come back to play this game is the object dropper. Opening up this menu, you have all these props and ramps that you can spawn in order to interact with the map around you in a completely different way. While there were unintended uses for these objects by the developers, it was still a net positive for this game in the grand scheme of things. But they didn't stop there, no. They added park building. You can build your own parks now, interact with the park however you like, and create anything that's in your imagination. I'm in a dick. And not only can you build your own parks, you can share your parks too. Other people can download your parks. You can check out what other people have made. It's amazing. Skate has always had a replay editor. Starting with Skate 1, it was pretty bare bones. You had 6 different camera angles, and you can add a filter to how you want it to look like. It wasn't the best, but it was something. In Skate 2, they sorta improved on it by giving us a tripod cam and a follow cam, allowing us to angle the clip however we want to. But that obviously wasn't good enough, so they made a DLC which added free cam and advanced free cam. Now we have better control of where we want to see our skater. Now we get to Skate 3, and those DLC camera angle features from Skate 2 is already pre-packed into the game. But wait, there was a DLC for that too. Now they added back the filters, and we can create how we want it to look like. Don't use this, it looks bad. Every skate game has a hollow meat. In Skate 1, you just slump to your death. In Skate 2, you can do gestures, flail around the air, and then just ragdoll down a hill. It's fun. In Skate 3, you can do everything you do in Skate 2, except now you have more options on how to bail when you're not falling. Either you want to go around acting like a dead fish on the flat ground, you can. Or you can start pushing yourself around like Sonic going down the hill. This game also introduced a Hall of Meat mode, where yes, you could see your points in live action just like in Skate 2, except that you now have a exoskeleton. I'm not really sure what kind of skeleton this is. All I do know is that when you bail, you get a weird filter, and you probably don't want to see that all the time when you fall, so you could easily just turn that off. Another thing that you can disable is the fisheye lens. Maybe you don't want to see the fisheye lens every time you want to go skating, and you just want to see a clear picture. Well, you can disable that too. Another quality of life feature that they brought to Skate 3 was signing up for challenges. In previous skate games, you can only teleport to them. But what if you just want to get straight into the action? Well, you have that sign up button there just for you. Another new thing that has been introduced into Skate, and just in video games in general, Coach Frank. He was in Project 8. He was? Well, I'm not going to retract my statement. Everyone knows he's from Skate 3. This is just a Mandela effect. Anyways, with Coach Frank comes his training course, which is very valuable to newer players of the series. For someone like me who started in Skate 1, the tutorials for it weren't the best. I barely got through it, and they just sent me off my way. So having multiple challenges going over the basics of how to play this game really helps new players. And stop doing the even flow! Back to what I was saying. The training courses on how to grind, how to do this, how to do that, really helps these new players come into the skate game and not get deterred because it's not as easy to pick up as Tony Hawk. Stop with the even flow! Along with the training courses comes on-screen help, which includes a trick analyzer and a manual meter. If you're not getting your manuals correctly because you don't know where to place the stick, this can help. If you're not getting the right flip trick down, this can help as well. Due to the lore of this game, you are no longer an up-and-coming professional skater. You are now a certified professional skater who is trying to start their own brand. And with their own brand includes a team. And yes, you can make an in-game creator team. However, they added the option to create an online team with your friends, which no longer works since 2013. And when it did work, it was full of DDoSing the other side. I know I'm downplaying Skate 3 teams, but there's just so much to talk about, and I don't have the time to go over that. But something closely related to the Skate 3 teams is the Skate feed, which shows you and other people in your team earning board sales for your team, and how many people have downloaded your part if you chose to upload it. The service for it today doesn't really work that well, but you get the picture. They also happen to add in-game leaderboards, which shows you death races, challenges, own the spots. It's pretty cool to look at, but be reminded that this refreshes probably on a monthly basis, so don't look at this as a permanent record list. 3K at 9th dimension? What do I got? Why am I not on the leaderboard? A new thing to this series was the graphics creator, where you can create your own graphic to show everyone in the world, and oh yeah, forgot about that. Since the world is built around teams, you could put your actual friends in your team, meaning you can import people that are on your friends list. Why is he default? Does he have the import glitch going on? Okay, let's go to the next person. No, he's default too. Okay, next guy. No, he's default as well. What's you have to have gold to import people?
Yeah.
Everyone's showing up as default.
I don't think you do.
Oh my god. You have someone added on your friends list and you like what they look like? You can import their skaters and have them on your career team. Not only that, when you go into free play, your friends list is already there and it shows you each one of their skaters that they have made, and you can play as them without having to import. Who the hell is this guy? Now this is more of a minute detail, but for someone like me who didn't connect their Xbox to the internet till 2011, I used the feature Call Skaters, where you're able to call your Skate 3 team or just anyone that's on the list of people to come skate with you. While they are AIs and you can't really interact with them that much, they at least leave a trail leading to where they're gonna go. So make sure you get in frame to get that nice picture. Speaking about pictures, you can now actually move the camera to how you want to position when doing a billboard or magazine shoot. Previous skate games, they just give you multiple pictures to cycle through. Now you can decipher whether you want to add saturation, contrast, make it look hella edgy, so you can display it in the public for everyone to see, even though they're AI and they don't care. Another great option which they added that hardly anyone ever mentions is the seamless flow through the menus. In previous skate games, if you wanted to do something, you had to back out to the main menu to play a free skate or to do party play. In this one, it's all in one menu and you don't have to back out to a main menu because there really isn't one. Speaking about menus, the online menu is so much easier. It works just like the offline menu. While the Skate 2 servers are permanently down, which means I have no footage to show you how bad it was to navigate through the online menu and setting up a game, just trust me that Skate 3 is a lot better. And they also added more game modes like 1-Up and Domination. Who can ever forget my favorite domination map, Ghetto Blasters? Why does that name sound familiar? They reused a name? And for the final buff of the game, they removed Can You Spell Girl. Oh my god, dude, this was so hard the first time I ever played it. I'm not gonna go into a rant right now, I'll do it later in this video. But for right now, let's talk about the neutrals of the game. What I mean by neutrals are things that they left out of the game that could make the game better or for worse, depending on who you ask. And I will personally tell you my own opinion if I think it was a good feature or a bad feature. Starting off with something that they had in Skate 1 and never again was ×3 lighting. Every time your multiplier went up, they decided to add a weird filter to it, but I seem to like it. But maybe that's just the nostalgia talking. I went back and played it and I still think it's cool. In Skate 1, you could be leisurely skating around the town of San Vandalona, and wham! You just owned a spot out of nowhere, completely unprompted. Now they changed that in Skate 2 where you had to activate the spot, and you had to do the same thing for Skate 3. But who knows, maybe there are people out there who don't want to have to go through the extra hit the button to activate a spot. I personally think activating the spot at first was annoying. But then later to come to figure out that what if I just want to hit the spot without the game saying, hey, look at this, you owned it, check it out, look at this replay. Also, when you activate a spot in Skate 2, there's no set point like there is in Skate 3, so that's another thing that could be a neutral. I personally think having an initial spawn point is better than not having one. Another property to own the spots in Skate 1 was ×3. You were able to have your ×3 multiplier, which added to the score when doing Own the Spot. And that wasn't just for Own the Spot, that was also in party play as well. Another Skate 1 feature were personal best, whether it was the longest power slide, the longest manual, the longest grind, the most airtime, the highest drop, all of that was told to you on screen if you broke your personal best. Now in Skate 3, they don't tell you that, you have to go find it out for yourself. And another cool thing that they added was adding this filter / slow-mo effect. I found that cool just the same way as I find the ×3 lighting. You guys might not. There was also this little added detail. If you didn't touch the controller for a while, the screen will do a little webby things around the corners of the screen. It's just a little added detail I like. A different small thing in Skate 1 is that you can change the units from feet to meters, meaning I don't have to have a completely different version of the game if I just want to see my game in meters. Now here's something that I didn't like about Skate 3, and it was the fact that you could fast travel anywhere you want. I mean, you could do that in Skate 2, but you could do that straight off the bat. Here's a new save I made, and look, I can immediately go to Mega Park, no issue. The thing I liked about Skate 1 and 2 is that even though the world was still open to you, you had no reason to be traveling to different places, for there were no challenges to be done there. The world opened up with more fast travel locations the more challenges you did. And for Skate 1 challenges, I really liked how they signaled where the next challenge was. It was a little design in the sky that said, hey, come skate over here. The next challenge is right here. It was very simple, and it was pretty cool. And in the next iteration, they just said, nope, we're not gonna do that. Instead, we're gonna have a small icon over their head. And so in Skate 3, they did the same thing, but just made it a little bit bigger. The downsides to this is that, yeah, while you could see it on your minimap, it would be obstructed by the objects that are in the way. And if you got too far, you couldn't see it. Due to the way the locations are laid out in Skate 3, I can understand why they couldn't do this, but I really love how in Skate 2, you have categorized fast travel locations. You want to go to the Own the Spot? You can do that. You want to go to a pool? You can do that. You want to go to a park? You can do that. There's no second guessing where you're going to be ending up. Like, what is the factory rooftops? Is there a skate park on top of it? I don't know. Now, these next few topics I'm going to talk about are more or less a nitpick, and it's more towards how it's formatted compared to the previous Skate games. Starting off with the team film challenges. In Skate 1 and 2, they give you film challenges that you could do anywhere. They give you a list of things you have to do in order to complete them, but you have full control on where you want to do it. Compare that to Skate 3, where they tell you what to do on what obstacle to do it on. The freedom there is pretty limiting. I mean, we do have team film challenges in Skate 3 where it's like, hey, do one trick. And so you're like, okay. Now what? The next is death races. For Skate 1 and 2, you had a countdown timer. And to increase that countdown timer, you had to go through gates, meaning that you were on one direct path from the start to finish. In Skate 3, there are gates, but no countdown timer, meaning that you could just start up a game, and why am I falling into the void? What's going on here? Sorry, mods. My bad. Let me try that again. meaning that off the start, you can go anywhere you want to, and if you know the map well enough, you could just directly beeline to the finish. And this reminds me of Mirror's Edge Catalyst for their time trials. They tell you where to go to the finish line, but they do encourage you to go off path to see if you can find a faster way to the finish. Personally, I prefer this method. In Skate 2, they introduced a Hollow Meat game mode, where it would actually give you points for thrashing your body down mountains. And with this came Hollow Meat challenges, and if you completed those challenges, it would go against the American healthcare system where they would actually pay you. The cool part is that you can continue doing these Hollow Meat challenges and racking up cash like it's no one's business, to the point to where you can get 40 million in your bank account like I did when I was a kid. Hey, I haven't seen that guy in a while. Game of Skate is another game mode that they slightly changed in Skate 3. In Skate 3, if you set a trick and then everyone perfectly copied it, it would go on to the next person. In Skate 1 and 2, it didn't matter if everyone copied the trick. The person who sets the trick has to fail setting the trick before it moves on to the next person. Which brings me to, can you spell girl? Oh my god, bro. These AIs just don't mess up ever. You start first, and if you mess up, it's their turn, and they never mess up. The only way to beat them is to 540 trick every time because they can't copy that. And then once you're done, you hit A to continue, but nope, this time it says retry. God, I hate that mission so much. Also, within the game of Skate, have you noticed you never had to play a game of Skate in the Skate 3 career mode? There's nothing there. Nothing is there. Not in the Pro Skaters, not in the films, challenges, wherever it could be, hidden within the menu. It's just not there. The only way to play it is through party play or online. Maybe it's because a certain challenge made everyone angry over the past year. Yet another lore-related topic, the currency system. Instead of actual money, you now have board sales. But with the board sales, you don't get to buy things in the merchandise store, because there really isn't no store, you just unlock them. Sure, in Skate 2, there were certain items that was locked behind a challenge I had to complete, but for the most part, I could just buy it with the money that I have. So why couldn't I be an irresponsible 26-year-old and pay $1 million for that necklace? Another thing I'd like to talk about is how everything is laid out in the merchandise store. In Skate 1, everything is categorized through brands, unlike Skate 3, where it's just a long grid of accessories and clothing items, and it's really hard to tell what section of the clothing you're looking at to find which brand you want. Also within Skate 3, there's a bands category, where there's actual merchandise based off of actual bands and or rap groups. Like, check out this NWA shirt. It looks pretty sick. Cheat codes, that's in Skate 3. You can become Isaac, give him a hoverboard, make him a mini skater, and fight zombies, as if it's the actual Dead Space. Well, in Skate 1, there are cheat codes, but there isn't a place to actually put in a code. Instead, you actually have mid-2000s button combination cheat code unlocks. And with these unlocks, they unlock progression. By looking at the characters I have unlocked for Free Skate, the only person I am missing is Mark Gonzalez. So if I do this button combination, I have unlocked every character, and now I could play as Mark Gonzalez. This also works for party play. To unlock a party play spot, you have to beat that Own the Spot in career mode. But what if you don't want to go through that trouble? Well, there's another button combination that does that. Now I can visit any Own the Spot location I want in party play. Now I know that doesn't apply to Skate 3 because everything is already unlocked, but having this feature just gives a sense of progression, and if you want to cheat the system doing so. Also, did you know there's a Best Buy shirt you can unlock? You do the button combination and it's not there? Huh?
What? But it says unlocked in your backpack.
Yeah, apparently they never put it into the game. This is still lore related, but services. In Skate 2, it's New San Vanalona because it's recovering from an earthquake, but because they're trying to rebuild, they don't want skaters taking over the city. So they put in Skate Stoppers, which is where the services come into play. You call up your friend, who happened to be named Mike, and he rips off the skate stoppers so you can continue skating. But you also have pools, which are full of water, so you call up your other friend, named Sammy, who you might kind of remember from Skate 1, and she drains them. Wait, hold on a second. That's Mike? He's also in Skate 1? I haven't paid attention to this lore at all. Oh my god. But then you also have Manga Corp, but be careful, you get jacked.
You want to set it off? Gotcha.
Why would I want money to get stolen from me? To prevent from getting jacked, you end up calling up Big Black, who will handle the situation for you. And as long as he's activated, Manga Corp will not bother touching you in the slightest. It's pretty amusing. Now, since it's a new town of Port Carverton, there really isn't a Manga Corp. The security in this town doesn't even care if you start skating, eliminating the need for draining pools and removing skate stoppers. With the elimination of Manga Corp, it really sets the tone of where you are located in this skate paradise. Maybe you're someone who really likes the game to be more rooted in reality, where you like to squeeze in a trick before you get kicked out by security. At least in Skate 2, the Manga Corp was better, because they would be guarding places that you shouldn't be skating in, like this financial district, unlike Skate 1, where they would happen to be guarding a parking lot of a convenience store. Nose grab or tail grab foot plants. That doesn't make sense. And it shouldn't, but you can do that in Skate 2. For some reason, when holding out these grabs, you could foot plant on a ledge or rail. I don't know why, it could be a bug, or maybe they thought it was cool to just leave it in. Either way, it is a banned comp method, because you can just rack up points without any skill. If you want to complain about high scores in Skate, here's your chance to do so, because we do not count these scores. Pick a pro, any pro. This guy, he has a cool beard, why not? Do a follow mission, and then do a demo. Now you're sponsored. But how does this tie into Skate 3? Since you're building your own team, you don't need to be sponsored.
Floor issue.
In Skate 1, when you came across a pro, they gave an introduction video about who they are, their hometown, and who their sponsors are, all while doing some pretty sick tricks. And personally, I think that's pretty cool. There are some pro skaters in Skate 3 that weren't in the previous two, so why don't they have a video? Still sticking on Skate 1, storefronts. You can fast travel there or you can skate there, your choice. But once you enter in, it feels like a skate shop with people inside of it, having their own conversations, making it feel alive.
Joel's giving me heat now that you got a board sponsor. Wow, you slow.
You're not coming by to see your picture in the mag again, are you?
Also within the same vein of the characters that are inside these storefronts, when you complete missions, sometimes it'll do a jump cut to a cutscene from these people talking about your latest Thrasher or Skateboard mag adventures. This adds to the liveliness to the characters that you can only find within Skate. It would be pretty cool if I hit something like Over the Shark and then have people talk about it. Why do they have to get rid of this? Incoming calls. Just right as when I was praising that these characters have life to them because they're interacting about what you just did, these calls do the exact same thing, but it's just a voice memo, and it's voiced by pro skaters who aren't voice actors, so it just comes off really weird.
Hey, you're pro now. I know it seems like a walk in the park, but you really gotta go get some coverage.
Slappy's blog. Listen, this is a very 2009 thing to have a blog, but I think it was a great decision not to add it in for the third installment, because it just doesn't seem right. I mean, I guess the only people who would really love it are the most fanatic Skate fans, and that's why this is in the neutral category. And for the last thing about the neutral category is Retta. From what I remember, Retta was looked as someone who was not very liked in the early years of Skate. That's why he was given the name The Mouth. But personally, I loved Retta. Retta was my companion wherever I skated. He encouraged me on the most radish tricks and would just say stuff if I got into a wacky situation.
Yo, you gotta watch out for these cars, yo. They will run you down.
You having a stroke there, buddy? You okay? What's going on? Emulator issues. Sorry, guys. But back to what I was saying. Retta was my guy. He was there to support me and make me feel like this world wasn't empty.
Ooh, that gave me the chills. I got the chills watching that one.
Rather than Shingo, who they pass it on to, where he doesn't say a word of any forms of encouragement, rather than just make snarky remarks when I'm AFK.
Anybody got a good recipe for tomato sauce? Hey, what's that over there? If you're not gonna skate, can I at least change my underwear? Hey, did everything come out okay?
No, Shingo, I have IBS. Oh wait, there's one more thing in neutral. What's that? What? What the hell is that noise? Now we're on to nerfs. These are the things that they didn't add into the game, which could benefit it in every single way possible. Let's talk about the minimap. That's not a minimap. That's a sonar. This is a minimap. See, you have the road. You see where buildings are. And not only that, you can see where the other skaters are, not just challenges. Let's talk about the trick guide. While it was in every single skate game, and you could see what trick to do and how to do it, Only in Skate 1 do they have individual stats for individual tricks. You can look into the trick guide and they tell you how to do it for each stance without having to switch your stance, and they tell you the number of times you've attempted it and how many times you've made it successful. They even have a checkbox next to it, making sure that you've actually done it. Look, I haven't even done this grab yet. Wait a minute. No! In Skate 1, you also have the logbook. While you do have something similar in Skate 3, where it's just milestones, but it just tells you how many challenges that you've completed out of how many challenges that are available. In the Skate 1 logbook, you have a thing called records, where it has personal stats, milestones, and stats. While we do have personal best and stats in Skate 3, they do not have milestones like they have milestones in Skate 1. And look, you have stuff like complete all challenges, first in all races, 300,000 feet of skating, escape 50 chases, which I probably didn't do as a child because I didn't like going to Mongo Corp areas. Adding these specific things to Skate 3 could make it such a better game. But not only do you have stats for tricks, you have stats for a Hall of Meat. When you break your bone, how many times you bruised it, how many times you sprained it, each individual bone has been tracked in the Hall of Meat log. Let's talk about accessories. Because did you know that Skate 1 had belts in the game? Belts? Where's that option in Skate 3? I don't see it at all! Another feature that Skate 1 had over every other skate game was its crowds. They were 3D, they were interactable, they weren't just... Is this working properly? I'm trying to crumple paper. Another thing that was forgotten in Skate 1 were the pros extra videos. You go to the menus, you go to extras, and look at that. You have all these pros that tell you about their journey of skating. While these videos were uploaded onto YouTube, I swear they were here. It's nice to know that you can just watch them within the game. Alright, now everything in Skate 2 that they forgot. Loading screens. The loading screens of the skaters doing tricks while the game's trying to load you into the main game. It's pretty cool to look at. While this only happens while you transition from game mode to game mode in the menus, they still provide tips when you fast travel within the game. But just having this option in general is so much better than the community photos that you see on Skate 3. Properties. These were things that were locked that you had to buy. While there are really only two locations like the Fun Track and the Monster Clubhouse, it was still kind of cool to buy this property that you can add within the world. Unlike Skate 3, where you have these warehouses to build your skate park, but you have to fast travel into them. It's not interconnected to the main world is what I'm trying to get at. And you just don't unlock these places, you have to earn them through challenges that gives you money. Speaking about money, Throwdowns is an option, where you can also do betting. Pick a pro, go to the max, and you win an easy 20k because they don't know how to do 540 spins. Now for a cool feature that was in Skate 2, which they forgot to add in Skate 3, Create a Spot. Create a Spot is something really cool and would never expect to see in a skate game, considering the fact that it comes with a ghost? A ghost? You don't even get a ghost in Death Race. The ghost allows you to see what the person did to get the highest score at that Create a Spot, giving you a useful tip on how to increase the score even further. And setting up is a bit awkward with the controls, but as simple as opening up the menu, hit Create a Spot, make your boundary box, set a spawn point, and hit your score. Now you can share it with your friends. If I had online services! Another thing about Skate 2 is that there is the Annals of Meat. Well, yes, you have your bail stats and your challenges. You also have top bails, which records your top 10 bails that you have done in the game, giving details like what day you did it, the time you did it, the location you did it, how many points you racked up. It's just all good stats fun. Now, this is the most painful thing about Skate 3 that I think universally everyone can agree on, is the fact that the world is divided up into districts. When I first started playing the game, I thought I was really stupid in not knowing how to get from downtown to university without using the fast travel. Don't act like you didn't go through that same situation like I did. In Skate 1 and 2, everything is interconnected, flows so smoothly, no need to fast travel, just to get to specific spots. Besides the waterfront towers, there's no way you're going to get up there naturally. Another bummer from Skate 3 is Party Play. Party Play was in Skate 1 and 2, and is in 3, but it's a DLC. Why was a key feature locked behind paid DLC? That didn't come out until Art Gallery was introduced. Alright, here's something you probably didn't know about Skate 2. Stand on your feet, hold circle or B, depending on what console you're on, and move your analog stick. Now you're playing Dance Dance Revolution. I don't know why this is in here, but it's pretty funny to look at. Now on to secret spots, because Skate 2 secret spots were actually secret. You wouldn't assume that there's a skate park on the other side of this wall, but there is. Who would have thought? It's secret, and not like the tunnel that is in Quarry. While that is considered secret, it just leads to more of an open part of the map that you can see. And yeah, that little half pipe by Arbor Ledge. But did you know about this hidden skate park in Cougar Mountain that's actually replicated on a skate park that is in Vancouver itself? Art imitating life. Who would have thought? Now let's talk about the original skate characters themselves and not the pros. Yes, you have Dem Bones, who's been a staple since Skate 1, but you also have Meatman and you also have Isaac. But what about the other people that are in the skate game franchise? Like Mike, like Sammy, or Freeway. All three of these people were in Skate 1 and 2, but no longer in Skate 3. But for some reason, Fabio made a return after dying in a death race accident while you were locked up in jail. And somehow we managed to have 2 different skins for Danny Way. Tying in with this, Big Black. Big Black I am singling out, only because he's a pretty goofy character in Skate 2. Yes, he's big, and he's black, thus the name, but if you were to fall from a high height, you get hilarious bounces. That's just pretty funny. Why wasn't he in the game? He is in the game, but you have to mod him to get in there. But he doesn't come with the bouncing properties. And last but not least, X Games. X Games is like one of the final challenges you do in Skate 1 after completing all the Thrasher challenges. And when you unlock the X Games challenge, you get a phone call from none other than Sal Masakela.
Hello? Yeah, I hope this is the right number. Anyway, this is Sal Masakela from the X Games. Dude, that cover, amazing.
A person who I believe is the voice of X Games, who has been gone in the past decade, but has returned in recent years. God bless the heavens. X Games is such a staple to skateboarding in general, to where Tony Hawk comes out of retirement just to do their jams. Nothing feels better than landing a big trick and Sal Masakela talking about you landing a big trick. Oh my god!
Take a look at the leaderboard, and what a story we have. His first X Games, and this kid's in the hot spot.
See, in Skate 2, you have something similar where you have this big stadium and it's all laid out for you. There is no X Games logo in sight, and there is no Sal Masakela. Instead, it's called the San Vanna Slamma, making you try to sing a jingle when saying the name. And then Skate 3 happened. Look, they brought it back. It's the same thing as Skate 1. It's unbelievable. There's no way they brought it back. It's a creative park, isn't it? Alright, that's it. I'm calling EA.
Me. Can we have X Games? EA. No. We have X Games at home. X Games at home.
Okay, listen, I'm really thankful for these big air challenges that happen at the end of the game. They're pretty sweet. It's just not the same without having the X Games watermark on the top right. And that's gonna do it for me. That's everything that's on my list between buffs, neutrals, and nerfs. So, if you have something that I didn't talk about, please comment down below. In the meantime... Oh, hey, the board came in.
Oh my god.